If you're using LinkedIn to grow your business and you haven't adjusted your strategy recently, you've already fallen behind. Yes, new algorithm changes, LinkedIn is changing things up, and in this video, I'm going to go over what you can do to make sure that you can keep up and you can grow your business. I've spent the last decade in digital marketing. I've worked with giant companies, I've worked with startups, and I help entrepreneurs. And the playbook from LinkedIn has changed dramatically, and the stuff that we did last year is no longer working. Let's start with the elephant in the room, or the robot in the room, AI. AI has completely flooded LinkedIn in a bad way. Listen, I'm not anti-AI. I use AI in my business daily. However, the stuff that's coming out on LinkedIn is literally people going into ChatGPT and saying, hey, give me a post on leadership. And then they copy and paste it. So it's a bunch of AI slop on there. And that creates a problem, right? Because there's more content on there. So the LinkedIn algorithm has to change things up a little bit. So for you and for me, this is actually a good thing because all this generic content out there, it's not working. And so you and me can come up with stuff that's not generic. And yes, we can still use AI, but no copy and paste jobs. And the thoughts and the information has to come from us. So if we're real and we're putting information out there about our case studies, our clients, something that you've learned and that's made you better, something about you or your clients or something that's so personal, AI can't compete with that because it's your story. And that's what you need to bring to the table. Another good thing you can do if you don't have stories yet or you want to like switch it up and not do the same thing all the time is giving your opinion. So your opinion being either completely different than what everybody else is saying, or there's something cool about your opinion, or you have a framework, or you have a cool spin about it that's uniquely yours. That also works really well on LinkedIn right now. For example, if I was doing a post on the 5 tips for email marketing, and then I would do a copy and paste job from ChatGPT, boring. People see through that. The algorithm sees through that. So instead, I would say the 5 tips, and I'd still give them, but I would couch it or package it in a story about how I screwed up at a company where I did some email marketing, I had some kind of flop, and then my lessons from that. And then I would list my 5 lessons and the 5 tips. Another good change for you and I on LinkedIn, your content lives longer than it used to. So in the past, LinkedIn would let content live for about 24 hours, 72 hours, and then it would like go away and just slide away. Now the algorithm is actually serving up content longer and more often. And so stuff from last week can all of a sudden pop up and be really good next week. So this is really good for us because then we have more runway for our content. And this is a deliberate LinkedIn platform decision that they made. They're actually looking at YouTube because YouTube does that. And what that is because you rewarding your content users for fresh and cool content that's uniquely yours. And so they want to reward you and keep that stuff up longer so you post more often on LinkedIn and you stay on LinkedIn. So very YouTube-esque, and I love YouTube. This is a really good algorithm change for you and I. One thing that you need to do differently, if you're like me, if you post something, don't obsess over the first hour about your LinkedIn post. If it's not getting hits, don't obsess over it because that means that maybe in next week somebody will actually like it, and then the algorithm will post it a little bit more, and then it can blow up later. So don't be obsessed about immediate metrics like we used to be on LinkedIn. So the strategic takeaway here is invest more in quality and less in frequency. If you can do both, even better. But quality will trump frequency every single time on LinkedIn. So I gave you 2 good news. And now we're going to go to the not so good news. Unfortunately, organic is completely declining. The new algorithm is kind of dumping organic, which I'm not a fan of because I like to do everything organically for both the company I work at and for my own business. So this is a little bit of a bad news. And unfortunately, LinkedIn is a business. LinkedIn wants to make money. And to make money, they want you to serve up ads. It's kind of like the first days of Facebook, right? Everything was organic and it was super cool and you can get seen. And then they started implementing ads and it was harder to do organic and it was easier to do ads. But even having said that, out of all the platforms out there, LinkedIn is still the best for organic content for B2B. So you're still in the right place, still keep doing organic, just know there's a little bit of a drop. So the play here for you and me is to double down on organic content, and then your competitors that are going to like really get frustrated and not going to put the right content, they're going to go away. And you're still there, you're being consistent, and you're still serving up really cool personalized content, and you will win in the end. So let's talk about ads. Is that something that you should do? There is something called thought leader ads that LinkedIn has, and it is looking like it's a good thing to do. I have not tested it myself, but it is something I want you to test if you want to put some budget in there, just to see if you can actually get more eyeballs on your profile and get more followers that actually engage with your content. Followers is not enough. You need people saving, bookmarking your posts. You need people to like and comment and share and that type of thing. So the way that this works, these ads for thought leaders, is you don't put it on your company page, you put it on your personal profile because it's thought leader ads. And then when it shows up in people's feed, it looks identical to a normal post. There is a small promoted on there because they have to legally do that, but it does look like a post. So it's a good thing to test. So the best way to get started with this is you do your organic content, do as much as you can, see what is awesome and what wins, and then you take that and you turn that into a thought leadership ad. And I got a pro tip for you here. So if you have an existing organic post that you want to put some money behind it, you do want to edit it and put a call to action. So the call to action could be, grab my freebie, sign up for my newsletter or something, because you want to get the most bang out of your buck for this particular ad. And you can't add like a CTA button. You can't add it in Ads Manager. So that's why you want to put it in the post. So you have your cool post, the language that you had, and at the bottom, you actually write out the call to action. Now, let's get back into the good news. So over polished content is not working very well, which again is good for me and you. We can do our content our way. I've been doing some testing. I have used some Claude LinkedIn posts and I have done some of my own. And so far it's been 50-50, I have to say, but I do change my Claude stuff. I don't copy and paste it. But what they're seeing is that content that comes from you, even maybe writing a mistake or just the grammar is off a little bit or you're using a little bit of slang terminology, will give you a leg up on LinkedIn. And that's not all the algorithm. That is actually because people's bullshit meter have gone up and everybody's starting to get sick of seeing like no fluff and M dashes and all that stuff. So people are starting to just kind of gloss over when they see that stuff. When it looks the same like everybody else's, people literally start tuning out and you don't want to do that. And that's why you want to be like a little bit unique. You still want to do your hooks and then have the copy just the way we've always done posts, but make sure it's language that doesn't sound like AI. And the best way to do this is just write the way you talk. So I talk in short sentences. Sometimes I cuss. And so I can actually do that on LinkedIn, or I'll have a little bit of, I don't know, maybe I'll talk about Taylor Swift or something like that. Something that's uniquely to me. And I don't write in this perfect grammar that comes from ChatGPT. And a fascinating development that some people have not caught up yet or on yet is that a lot of the LinkedIn stuff that you're writing actually is showing up in AI searches. So if you've taken my AI generative engine optimization course, you already know this. But if you have not taken that course, AI search visibility is a huge thing. You want your brand and your name to show up when people do searches. If somebody searches and says, I want the best baker in Colorado, then hopefully if you're the baker, your name comes up. And a lot of times LinkedIn will be literally getting taken the entire snippet into the AI search results. So LinkedIn is really good for that type of work as well. And the good news here is you don't need to do anything new, fancy. Literally, it's just consistency, you showing up. LinkedIn thinks that you're a thought leader, and then the AI tools think that you're a thought leader, and then they will surface your snippets and the wordings inside AI search results. Now, to maximize your visibility on LinkedIn and AI, I recommend posting 5 times a week. I know that's a lot, but if you can do it, that's good. I usually tell my clients, my consulting clients to post at least 3 times a week, but I prefer 5 times a week because we've seen the 5 times a week is really good. That shows LinkedIn that you're very consistent and they reward you for that. And then again, in turn, the AI searches are more likely to pick you up. Now, if it's just you, then do what we just talked about. If you have a team member, you have a co-founder, there's multiple people, or maybe you have staff, you guys all should post. Then you can like and cross promote each other's stuff. And that would be like a whole team content strategy that you want to implement. And that is really going to drive LinkedIn into serving up all of you guys' posts more often. So if you have team members, do that. If you're a solopreneur, that's fine. I'm a solopreneur. I don't have that either. Just do what we just talked about earlier in the video. If you found this valuable, please like and subscribe. If you want the AI course, I have it in the descriptions below. And if you need help from me, I do consulting, one-on-one consulting, and I also do group consulting to make it a little bit more affordable. I'd love to have you. All right, I'll see you in the next video.